right, so it is 10:33. I want to make sure we're respectful of everybody's time. So why don't we go ahead and get started? And Congressman, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, very good. Hey, just want to thank you all for number one, getting online for this information session where we talk about our Service Academy nomination process. And before we even get into that, I just want to say to those of you that are wishing to seek a nomination to West Point or Naval Academy, Air Force Academy, Merchant Marine Academy, or an academy that you don't even need our nomination for, but still an outstanding academy, the Coast Guard Academy, another one to consider out there if you weren't thinking about that one as well. Awesome process. When you go and request to be into one of our service academies, it's something that I take very seriously as somebody that served in the military for over a dozen years, as somebody that's lost friends in the military, as somebody that's been injured in the military, as somebody that's served in our highest level of special operations. I know what it's like to have good leaders, and I know what it's like to have bad leaders. And the fact of the matter is, by asking to go to one of those service academies, you are right off the bat, you're not asking to be led, you're asking to become a leader of others. Other people's lives will be in your hands. You will be responsible for other soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marine, Coast Guards, men and women, you name it. You're going to be responsible for them. That's a very serious thing to undertake and to ask. And you will be trained to do that by going to one of these service academies. But it's in that we take it so seriously, that the act of giving you our nomination as a congressional office. So I want to go over some of the things that would be expected of you in that, and some of the fun stuff, some of the hard stuff, some of the things that you need to get through in order to earn that nomination. So number one, just some dates to be aware of. If you want my nomination to go to one of those service academies, we need to have your packet in by Monday, November 1. We need a completed packet in from you by Monday, November 1. Now, step one is, if you want my nomination, just showing me that you can follow directions, right? That's important. That's important in the military. So show us that you can follow directions, get us the completed packet in by Monday, November 1. Packets can be returned to our Port St. Lucie office. We'll give you the information on all of that. Nominations to the service academies actually have to be in by January 31, but we need, for our selection and assessment purposes, by November 1. I'm going to go over the things that we need from you in that packet right now, so you have it, right? So those dockets, again, no later than November, those documents no later than November 1. Incomplete submissions, they're not going to be considered. If you don't get us everything that we need, we're not going to consider those. If you have any questions, we will answer questions for you 7 days a week. If you have questions, call us over again. We want you to be successful. So if you're not sure of something, ask us. We will help you get through that. You can email one of my guys, Jordan Sejour. His email is jordan.sejour. That's SEJOUR @mail.house.gov. That's his email, or you can call in the office 772-336-2877. Here's what we need from you. Completed application form with a passport photo, right? Don't forget that photo. Complete academic recommendation form mailed directly to our office. Congressman Brian Mast, attention Jordan Sejour, that name that I just gave you. Address 121 Southwest Port St. Lucie Boulevard, Port St. Lucie, Florida 34984. And I'll make sure that in the chat on this, Anne Marie puts up that information in the chat so you can copy it, paste it, take a screenshot of it, whatever you need. We'll put those specific information, phone numbers, emails, names. We'll put all of those things in the chat for you, just in case you weren't able to copy them. This will also be recorded and put back up. We need your official high school transcript. All right, we need those things. Can also be mailed again directly to our office, Congressman Brian Mast, attention Jordan Sejour, 121 Southwest Port St. Lucie Boulevard, Port St. Lucie, Florida, 34984. We need, if you've taken that official SAT or ACT test scores, if you've taken that already, we need those official scores. SAT institution code 5966. If prompted to enter the 6-digit code, then enter 005966 for the institution code on that. Official scores are not necessary if they're listed on your high school transcript. We need 3 sealed letters of personal recommendation, not from your relatives. All right. I know that your parents think that you are outstanding young men, young women, but we want to hear from other people aside from your parents, your guidance counselors, teachers, somebody that you worked for, neighbor, friend, something like that. Let us hear from some other people. Resume that includes some of your notable achievements, things that you've done in that. And give me 1 second here, JJ. I need you to get to log in this other iPad here a minute for me, where I have some of the questions that you all have asked. I'm going to answer some of the questions that you all have asked. And then we need an accident waiver and release of liability form. So right now, you guys have about 61 days until we go through our selection and assessment process from our office. And maybe you've heard about that selection and assessment process because you have friends that have gone through it. We're going to put you through the physical ringer, and we're going to put you through a board. And we want to know that you're individuals that are driven and motivated and team oriented and have a great attitude, the kind of people that we want to go out there and represent this community, asking to be leaders in training in our service academies. We want you to show us how that is you. That's your opportunity to shine in front of us and show us why it is that we should give you one of those limited number of nominations that exists out there for the Service Academy nomination. So you have 61 days to get yourself ready. We're going to make you do push-ups, sit-ups, running, right? Military standards are universal across the board. So if you have questions about those military standards for that 18-year-old age group, how many push-ups, how many sit-ups, how fast you have to run 2 miles, go out there and look on a military's website and see how many you have to do. But you have 60 days, 61 days to get yourself as physically fit as possibly ready so that you are the most prepared, the most competitive that you can be against your peers that are competing against you. So let's talk about a couple of these things that you can go out there and you can garner as you're doing this, right? You're going to show us your academic achievements. You're going to show us your volunteer achievements. You're going to show us your physical achievements, the things that you do. But if you show us all of those things and you get that nomination, then and you get to go to West Point, you're going to be a part of one of the schools in our country that has one of the most rigorous vetting processes to let people in, lower than many of the top Ivy League schools out there. And you're not going to pay 1 penny for that education, which is vitally important. Most schools you come out of, you got $50,000, $100,000 of debt, of student loan debt or something else to go to one of those schools. You're going to have earned your education. Nobody's going to say that you got a free education because this isn't free. You're going to go out there and you're going to earn it every single day of that schooling, of that university that you attend. And in the end, you're not going to have to pay a dime. You're going to get to learn to do some outstanding things throughout that education, like jumping out of aircraft, roping out of helicopters, going to things like, if you went to West Point, you'd get an opportunity to go to Ranger School or other things. You're going to have some incredible opportunities that nobody else in any other university is going to have the opportunity to go do during those summer times and during those breaks and other things. It's going to be incredible for you. And you're going to have earned it. That's one of the most important things that I can say. It's not free college like so many people are out there asking for right now. It's you going out there and saying, I want to earn an opportunity to learn, to be a leader in our armed forces. And when you do that, you also earn the opportunity to have 100% job placement after you graduate. There's no other university that can say that across the country. You will have a guaranteed job for the next 5 years, serving as a very small brotherhood, sisterhood of those that went to a service academy and then went on to serve in the military. That is a very tight-knit group of individuals that you will find around the world. If you decide to get out, you will find that tight-knit group of people in Fortune 500 companies, in government agencies, in elected office. So to be a part of that group, it's something that is important for the people that you will learn to, or that you will meet in this world. So that's a little bit on that. I want to go to some of the questions that were asked specifically about what it is that you might want to know for going to the Service Academy. I got some specific questions in before we did this. How old do you have to be? You have to be between 17 and 22, and on July 1 of the year that you enter Academy. You have to be a U.S. citizen. You cannot be married. You cannot be pregnant or have any dependents. And you must be of good moral character. That's something that you got to show and prove. That's something that your letters will help show to us. I had a question from Caleb. Caleb asked, do you have any tips for nomination interviews? Here's a tip for the nomination interview when you're going through that board. Now, that board, it's not a secret. We don't want this to be a secret. We don't want you to be nervous. We want you to be confident, and we want you to be prepared. That's what earns you this nomination process. And the tip that I would give you for that board, where you're going to have officers and enlisted people that have gone to all of these different service academies, people that have been active duty, guard, reserve, retired, you name it, people that have served this country honorably, asking you questions about why it is that you want to lead others, why it is that you want to go to that school or a couple of schools that you're requesting to go to. My advice, know for yourself why it is that you're really asking to do that. It shouldn't be because your parents are pushing you into it. Your parents are outstanding, and they're as good parents, we try to push you into doing great things, but it has to be what's in your heart, because you can't get through these academies and you can't do great things in the military if it's not actually your personal dream to go out there and do that. So that's one of the most important things that you have to be able to convey to us is, why is it important to you? Why have you earned a spot above the 50, 60, 70 other people that are in line next to you to receive a nomination? Why have you proven that you're more prepared than those other 50, 60, 70 people next to you that are seeking a nomination? And be confident in the way that you're trying to present that to us. That is my advice on this front. From Nicholas. Nicholas said, I'm 15, attending South Fork, actively participate in ROTC. I've always been a straight A student and would like to attend West Point and follow in my family's long, proud line of service to America. How do I proceed? Great question. Preparing for this early is better, because the earlier that you're preparing for this, the more time it gives you to go out there and volunteer in your community, to make sure that you have the best possible grades, to get those letters of recommendation from friends and people around the community that you know or you have contact with, to get yourself physically fit, right? Don't ask me for a nomination if you can't do a couple of push-ups, if you can't run a little bit, and if you can't do a couple of sit-ups, because if you can't lead the people that you're asking to lead, and that means physically as well, then you're not a leader. You have 60 days to get yourself ready physically, be ready physically, or you're not going to be able to get that nomination. If you're preparing even earlier, years out, then you're going to be that much more prepared. Nick, some advice: continue serving in the JROTC, volunteer in your community, join an athletic team, stay fit, maintain your outstanding grades in school, and you will make it easy for me to say, yes, that is who I want to give a nomination to, because you've shown your hard work. And it's just that easy for the board to recognize that you're trying day after day after day to prove yourself. That's what leaders have to do. You don't have to sit there and figure out the ways that everybody else did something wrong. You got to find a way to prove yourself as an individual every single day. And if you do that, and if you show us how you did that, you're going to make it so easy for us to nominate you. Another question from Mark. Mark said, would promotion within the Civil Air Patrol Stewart Composite Squadron help a cadet get the congressional appointment to West Point? And the answer is yes. If you're in the JROTC, or if you're in the Civil Air Patrol, or if you're a police explorer, or any host of other things that you do to separate yourself from your peers, where you're showing, you could be an Eagle Scout. That's another example. Eagle Scout is a great, if you're doing something to show how you've shown dedication and drive and commitment to something, then you're going to help us to say, that's who we want to nominate for this service academy. So absolutely, yes. We want to know all of your accomplishments, Congressional Medal Program, a place where you've received awards somewhere, awards that you received in the school that you attend, you name it. All of those things show how you're not just asking to be a leader in the future, how you're starting today or starting last year or the year before, you've been doing it your whole life, showing that you want to be a leader and you have what it takes to be a leader. That's what we're assessing. That's what we're looking for. So prove it to us and show us to us. And it's going to be easy again for us to nominate you. From Mike. Mike asked a question. Can an individual from another state apply and receive a nomination from a congressman outside of his home state? The answer is no. Applicants seeking nomination have to apply with the congressman, the congresswoman who represent their congressional district. So in that, I'm sorry if you're outside of our community that I can't give you a nomination in that way. For those of you that are in the community, that's important for you to know. You're not competing with me against individuals from Michigan or New York or California. You're competing with me against people in and around your community, high schools in and around your community. But part of what you should know about competing is this. The military academies, they are well aware that we do a more rigorous selection and assessment process than any of my peers in Congress. We try to make our selection and assessment process for you to get my nomination more difficult than any other process. They recognize that, and they recognize the high caliber of individuals that we put forward, and give us the opportunity sometimes to get more names in front of them than what other people might have the opportunity to get in front of them, because of how rigorous we make this selection and assessment process, because you're earning it in a different way. That's something that's important for you to know about earning this opportunity. So another question from Jonas C. I'm not sure that I'm saying this name correctly, and I apologize if I'm butchering the name Jonas C. It might be pronounced a little bit differently. Do you believe that it's more beneficial for young students aspiring to be in the military to go to a military academy? I think that's meaning in opposed to ROTC or enlisting or things like that. And also follow on, how do I start registration for military academy? Why is military academy more beneficial than an ROTC scholarship? And those are some important questions that I'm happy to answer. So receiving an appointment to a service academy, it's competitive. Most who apply are not selected. That's how competitive it is. So you need to be prepared that if you're not selected, but it's truly your desire to serve, then how else are you going to serve? That will probably be a question on your board, not to give away questions on your board, but if you're not selected to West Point, Naval, Air Force, Coast Guard, Merchant Marine Academy, if you're not selected to one of those schools, are you still going to choose to go to the ROTC or to enlist? Because if you're not, then maybe that desire inside of you isn't exactly what you might be saying it is. That's an important thing for you to reflect upon. Those are all outstanding options. I was an enlisted man in the military. I didn't go to one of our service academies. If I could go back in time, I would have tried to do much better in school so that I could have been competitive to compete for one of our service academy nomination processes, not had student loans, not had things like that. In the end, I earned a GI Bill, which was outstanding, and ended up paying for so much of my schooling that I consider it to be a great way to go if you don't go to a service academy. ROTC, great way to go if you don't go to a service academy. Couldn't recommend any of those enough. And if you have questions about any of those things, we're happy to speak to you about those as well, offline or come into our office or something else. We're happy to talk to you about those things. But again, that's something important for you to reflect on before you go to that board with our people. Is, are you going to serve one way or another? Is that the desire inside of your heart that one way or another you're going to get into the military and become a leader, whether it's through service academy, ROTC, enlisting, or however you choose to do it? That's an important question to be answered for yourself. Another question from Tanner. What's the average SAT score for somebody who is accepted? Average SAT score at the academies range from, let's see, here we go, 540 to 620 for verbal, and 630 to 710 for math. Average ACT score is 24 to 29 for English, 27 to 32 for math. So those are some of the average scores for SAT, ACT from Jared. How do I always continue to be the most unique of the unique so I can make it to West Point? Here's what you have to do. You have to prove yourself every day, which is what we should all be doing every day. Wake up with a purpose, wake up with a goal of what you're going to achieve in that day, and then achieve it. And talk to us about it in your Service Academy process, how you set goals for yourself every day, every week, every month, every year, and how you met those goals. And how one of those goals is also to go to a Service Academy, and how you're going to reach that goal, and what the goal is that you want to do in terms of leadership when you graduate, and how you're going to reach that goal. That shows us how you plan, shows us how you prepare. Again, makes it easier for us to give you our recommendation. Question from Victor. How do I begin the process of applying? Junior year, senior year, question mark, which one is best process? It's best to begin with engaging with the academies, speaking to the academies that you want to apply to. You can want to apply to more than one academy. Maybe you want to apply to Naval Academy and Merchant Marine Academy and not needing my nomination process. Maybe you want to also apply to the Coast Guard Academy. Those are things that you have options to say, I want to go to this one, and this one. Maybe you don't exactly know which one's best for you. Some of the people in our boards are happy to help talk through that with you, so that you can try to make the decision that is best for you. So that's a little bit on that. But work by engaging with those service academies in your junior year of high school, if possible. And I believe I have one last question here that's scripted from y'all, from Sebastian. And then if y'all have any follow-on questions, I'm happy to answer those. From Sebastian, what does the timeline look like between November 1st and attending an academy if you are accepted? So here's what that timeline looks like. Following the November 1 application deadline, you're going to be given a date and time for a physical fitness assessment and a panel interview. I told you already, you got 61 days from right now to get yourself ready for that physical selection and assessment, and for that board process. So practice in front of the mirror, answering questions, be prepared with how you're going to show that you can present yourself well, be physically prepared. 61 days to get yourself ready for that from right this moment. Prior to December 25th, applicants will receive a letter from my office indicating the outcome of their nomination application. My office will then provide the academies with a list of our nominees. That's my nomination. That's not an acceptance to the school that you want to go to. That's whether I will be offering you my nomination. We will let you know. Then after that, the academies will begin making their offers of appointments to the candidates. This process usually completed by April 15th, and the candidates will have until May 1 to accept or decline that offer. One of my favorite things to do is I usually get notified a little bit before the school tells you that they've accepted you. And so one of my favorite things to do is to call you personally and let you know that the school is offering you an appointment if that takes place. So you might actually find out a few days prior if they do offer you an appointment, because I'll be giving you a call to let you know that. So that's all of the official information that I have to give you from the questions that were submitted prior to starting this conference. If any of you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them right now. I would make this encouragement to you all. If you have friends and peers in school that are thinking about an academy, or maybe even not thinking about it yet, encourage them to think about it. This is serving our country. We want the best possible leaders. You should want to serve alongside the best possible individuals as you go out there and seek an appointment. So if you know people that should be thinking about doing this, let them know that they should be thinking about doing this, because that's how much you care about your country. That's how much you care about the military branches, that you want the best to your left and right. and make them aware to watch this and learn about the process, or reach out to our office, or that they're already behind the 8 ball because you were on this and they weren't, and they need to get caught up. So if you guys have any questions right now, let me have them, and if you don't, we'll give you all back your day.
Yeah, we've got a few in the chat, so I'll go ahead and share those. Michael would like to know, what activities beyond academics in school should a candidate be engaged in?
Yeah, so beyond academics in school, go out there and be engaged in sports. And then your coaches can also be one of the individuals that gives you a letter of recommendation, because there's somebody that's seen you quite a bit. They can tell us about your work ethic on and off the field, or the court, or wherever it is that you're playing a sport. The best people in the military, listen, we've talked a lot about physical, but we want you to be smart. You have to be smart. You have to be thoughtful. It's why when you go into special operations, SEALs and special forces and other places, they take the time to send you to get advanced degrees, because you're a representative of your country out there in places where maybe there's not members of the State Department or elected officials or others. We want you to be smart. So show us that. Show us what you did in debate. Show us what you did in volunteering with the Boys and Girls Club or with some other group. Show us what you did in working at a food drive or a food pantry, or helping kids, or doing pickups at the beach, showing how you were engaged in your community, or with the Coast Guard Auxiliary, or whatever it might be. Don't make the mistake of not telling us one of your accomplishments. That's your opportunity to shine when you when you give us a resume, when you talk about it on your board, and when you have the opportunity to just talk to us one-on-one. So there's nothing that you shouldn't put in front of us, showing us how you shine. Find ways, find creative ways, and we'll look forward to seeing it. Jordan, can I get that water there? What else you got?
A few people have asked about the acceptance rates for the
Anne Marie, you
academies.
can let them ask their questions. We don't have to read them for them. You guys got a question, I want to hear from you.
All right. Well, in that case, Devin, if you'd like to unmute yourself and ask your question, feel free.
Okay. What is the acceptance rate for the academy, sir?
Yeah, the acceptance rates for the academies, it's under 10%. I want to say it's somewhere around 9% is the acceptance rate to our to the military academies. And again, make the point that after you get done with that, guaranteed job. You don't have a bill of 50,000 or 100,000 thereafter. You're a part of one of the smallest, most elite group of individuals that come together around the globe in business, in government, and other places after graduating from these. You're going to start out after that commission probably making about $70,000 a year, and you move on from that, and you get bonuses in the military, great bonuses in the military. Sometimes as much as 100,000 to 150,000, depending on the jobs that you do and how the military needs to retain people, and how senior you are in that job. I used to be an explosive ordnance disposal technician, EOD technician. There was a point in time that they were given bonuses up around $100,000 for continuing your service just for another 4 years. So great opportunities in the military to set yourself ahead in academics, in leadership, financially, and other benefits that you garner when you're in the military that we didn't really talk about. You also get things like assistance with home loans. If you spend a career in the military and do 20 years, you're also going to get your health care paid for the rest of your life. These are things that don't exist anywhere else, to include retiring after 20 years. If that's when you decided to retire, if you did that, you start receiving 50% of what your paycheck was the day you retire. So if you went in at 17 years old, basically the day you hit age 37, you could retire, which might seem like a long way off right now, but it's really not. And you start receiving 50% of what your pay was in the military. Just some of the great benefits that exist there, on top of serving your country with the most patriotic individuals that you're ever going to come in contact with in your life. What other question we got?
Next question we'll take is from Gabriel. Gabriel, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, you can ask your question.
Gabriel, you still with us?
Hi, my name is Gabriel Torres from St. Louis U.S. Centennial High School. I'm with the Naval Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. How many letters of recommendation can we turn in?
Yep. Listen, if you have more than 3 letters of recommendation that you want us to read, I will take a look at them, send them in, but the request is 3 letters of recommendation.
All right, thanks, Gabriel. Next, we'll go to Jesse. Jesse, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself. All right, looks like we might have lost Jesse. So we will go to Zach. Zach Shoemaker, if you're on.
Zach, you with us still? I think we lost Zach.
All right, well, he had a good question that I think folks might be interested in, which is how many nominations are you allowed to give?
So, Jordan, is there a specific number of nominations that I can give? 10 per academy is the number. However, again, I spoke a little bit about the rigor of our selection and assessment process, and we have had the academies come back to us after the fact saying, hey, a spot opened up here, a spot opened up here. Can you give us another one of your people? Because we know that you vet them very heavily and we have another opening that opened up. So these are things that have literally happened to us. So again, you're going through a process and selecting an assessment with us that not everybody puts their young people through, which puts you ahead of the game.
All right, we've got another great question from Matthew. Matthew, if you want to jump on.
Are homeschool kids allowed to attend the academics?
Absolutely, homeschoolers are allowed to attend. Listen, I'm a homeschool family, so don't think that makes me partial to you, but I certainly hope that one day my children, I've got 4 kids, that they decide they want to go to one of our military academies. So we're happy to have homeschoolers. What matters is, again, show us your academic performance, your volunteer performance, your levels of physical fitness, your ACT, SAT scores, those letters of recommendation from people in the community that you know. And you put those things forward and you will be judged exactly the same way as everybody else. And this is a good point to talk about some of the other things. I am a representative in the U.S. House of Representatives. There is politics that exists in the world, but there is no politics when it comes to recommending somebody for a Service Academy nomination. How I do this is, I told you already, you will be interviewed by a board of individuals. On that interview process, I take the recommendation of those members of my board 100%. I don't veer from it. It doesn't matter if you or your family are from the same political party as me or some other political party. It doesn't matter if I've met you 100 times or if I've never met you before in my life. It doesn't matter if you know, people have had arguments with me or not had arguments with me and had nice things to say about me. What matters is those members of that board and how they assess your volunteer work, your academics, your physical performance, and your presentation that you put forward in that board. And I will take their recommendations 100%. This process has nothing to do with the political world that exists outside of elected office. So.
All right, and I think we've got one last question from Gabriella. Gabriella, are you there?
Hi,
Gabriella, there we go.
JOTC at Centennial High School. So I'm deciding on doing 2 years of college before I do go into a branch. I'm still deciding on what branch I should go to, what branch should I choose, and what college would be best for that branch.
So a couple of years of college prior doesn't make it best for any specific branch. Maybe if you were going to say, you wanted to go to an aeronautical school, maybe that's best for the Air Force, hypothetically. But to go beyond that, any of the colleges that exist out there are great to put you ahead academically. That's another point that I should talk about. If you're dual enrolled, Make sure that you get us the transcripts from your college as well. If you are a dual enrolled student, if you've been taking classes at Indian River State College or somewhere else, make sure that you get us those transcripts as well, because that's something that we will be looking at also, not just your high school transcripts. But again, recommend if you want to go to one of our service academies and you're ready to go, you have that academic performance and that physical fitness and that volunteer work, then think about applying for one of the service academies right now instead of a couple of years from now. But again, we all have different paths. Maybe you want to go ROTC first or something else like that. They're all great paths to choose, but certainly recommend those service academies as one of the best.
All right, and actually looks like we have a few more questions coming in.
Okay.
Ashlyn, you've got your hand up. You have a question? Oh, Ashlyn, could you unmute yourself? Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ashley McNerney, and I'm the Deputy Commander at Jensen Beach High School in ROTC program there. My question for you is, what qualities do you look for when you're giving out nominations?
Yep. So I'll show you tell you about some of the qualities that we hope to see out of you when we assess you. We want to see confidence out of you. When the board is talking to you, they're going to ask you questions, some that you might anticipate, and some maybe that you don't anticipate, but we want to see you answer confidently. We want to see you answer honestly. We want to see you speak from the heart. Tell us why you really care about this country, why you really want to serve, why you want to serve in that specific branch. Let us know what's really in your heart. We want to get to know you. The folks that are going to be interviewing you, they're going to be sitting through interviews literally all day, speaking to young people like yourself. They want to learn about you. They're doing that because they care that much to give their time to learn about you. So really tell them about you and who you really are. When you're going through the physical assessment and selection, we want to see team play. We want to see, one, how outstanding you can do as an individual because you're the one seeking a nomination. But we want to see also, what's your attitude? What's your attitude to the people around you? How do you help the people around you? How do you lift other people up? Or what's your style of encouragement for other people? Or maybe you don't have one. But those are things that we want to see out of you. That's why we do those things, because we're going to sit there and we're going to judge the kind of leader that you are currently and the kind of leader that we believe you have the potential to be, and then make the best possible decision that we can about giving you a nomination to one of those academies. So that's what we want to see out of you. Just another thing, always important to think about, presentation of yourself. What is your presentation? Because we're always watching. What is your presentation when you're out there doing your physical fitness? What is your presentation at the board? If you're a young man, do you show up like what we would expect you to show up in the military, cleanly shaven, as a young lady, with your hair, pulled back, combed, looking presentable? Don't think that those aren't things that they're going to be looking at. Is how did you present yourself? Do you look like you just rolled out of bed and your clothes are all wrinkly? Or did you take the time to make yourself look straight and sharp and wrinkle-free and ready to go, like you care about it? Because if you do, you're going to stand out over somebody that did the opposite of that, I can promise you.
All right. And then one last question from Heidi. Heidi, if you're still on.
Okay.
Is going to graduate school an option after going to like an academy, like say medical school?
Yeah, so great question. So I was injured back in 2010 when I was injured in Afghanistan. I was recovering at a hospital called Walter Reed Army Medical Center, or Army Navy Medical Center in Washington, D.C., or that's actually in Bethesda. It's just outside Washington, D.C. On the campus of that hospital, of that military hospital, is what's known as the Uniformed Services Academy. The Uniformed Services Academy is the military's medical school. So after you got a 4-year degree, if you wanted to go out there, and this goes not just for people that go to our academies, that goes for other people that went to another school or some other place. But after you got that 4-year degree, if you wanted to become a doctor, this type of surgeon or an anesthesiologist or this or this or this, you could go to the Uniformed Services Academy, and it would be the military's version of medical school, where you would learn trauma on people that are coming out of theaters of war, or other things related to that. So outstanding medical school options as an example, if that's something that you were thinking as a potential path while you're in the military. There's typically other educational benefits outside of, say, the GI Bill and things like that you earn. But there's other benefits that you get, like tuition assistance while you're in the military, to continue your education while you're out there serving at that same time. Because the military, again, they want you to be educated. They want you to pursue a master's degree or a doctorate degree, or if you went in and enlisted and didn't have a degree, your associate's degree, your bachelor degree, they want you to pursue those things, and they want to help you out with that.
All right. Well, I think that was the last of our questions.
All right. So I will just say again, thank you all for taking the time to get on and learn about this. Get ready to put your best foot forward. We're going to see you all in 61 days. We look forward to seeing you. We enjoy the process. Parents, your parents are welcome to come out and watch that physical selection and assessment process. They're not going to be invited into your boards when you do that, but they're certainly welcome to come out and watch that physical selection and assessment process. Be ready, prepared, put your best foot forward, show us the kind of leader that you're going to be. And I'll look forward to giving you my nomination to the academy of your choosing. In that, I wish you all the best. Y'all take care.